A crypto CEO dies on vacation, but $190 million vanishes with him. This isn't the plot of a Hollywood thriller. It's the baffling true story of Gerald Cotten and the digital ghost that haunts Canada's largest crypto exchange. In the winter of 2018, the cryptocurrency world was rocked by a bizarre announcement. Gerald Cotten, the 30-year-old founder and CEO of QuadrigaCX's, Canada's biggest and most trusted crypto exchange, had died suddenly while on his honeymoon in India. The cause of death was listed as complications from Crohn's disease, a condition he had long managed. It was a tragedy for his family and a shock to the thousands of users who had entrusted their money to his platform. But the real shockwave was yet to come. In a sworn affidavit, Cotten's widow, Jennifer Robertson, revealed a catastrophic detail. Gerald was the only person who knew the passwords to the company's cold wallets, the offline digital vaults where the vast majority of customer funds, an estimated $190 million, were supposedly stored. With his death, the keys to this digital fortress were gone forever. The money had, for all intents and purposes, vanished into thin air. The news sent immediate panic through the QuadrigaCX user base. Over 115,000 people suddenly found their life savings, their retirement funds, and their dreams for the future trapped in a digital black hole. Withdrawals had been slow for months, but now they ground to a complete halt. The official story was a tragic, almost unbelievable case of poor business practice. A tech wunderkind had built a financial empire with a single point of failure, himself. But as the days turned into weeks and the missing millions remained unaccounted for, a darker narrative began to take shape. The story just didn't add up. For a community of internet sleuths, skeptical journalists, and blockchain investigators, the official explanation wasn't just improbable. It was a potential cover for one of the biggest exit scams in crypto history. The investigation began where the official story ended, with Gerald Cotten's death. Almost immediately, red flags started popping up. The timing was incredibly convenient. Just weeks before his trip to India, Cotten had signed a detailed will, leaving his entire estate, including a private jet, a yacht, and numerous luxury properties, to his wife. For a 30-year-old, this level of preparation seemed unusually prescient. Then came the questions about the death certificate itself. It was issued by a small rural hospital in India and contained misspellings of his name. Some online detectives even claimed the signature of the issuing doctor looked forged. The circumstances were so suspicious that a chorus of creditors and investors began demanding the ultimate proof. They wanted Cotten's body exhumed to confirm he was actually deceased. While the world debated whether Gary Cotten was a ghost or simply a very irresponsible CEO, a parallel investigation was happening on the blockchain. Independent crypto researchers and journalists from outlets like Bloomberg and The Globe and Mail began meticulously tracing Quadriga's digital footprint. They were looking for the fabled cold wallets, the secure offline accounts that supposedly held the $190 million. But they found nothing. They analyzed every known Quadriga address, combed through terabytes of transaction data, and collaborated with other exchanges to trace the flow of funds. The conclusion was stunning. There was no evidence that these massive cold wallet reserves had ever existed. Quadriga's vaults were empty. This discovery opened a Pandora's box of deception. If the money wasn't in cold storage, where was it? The on-chain analysis painted a disturbing picture. Instead of safeguarding user funds, it appeared Cotten had been running the exchange like a personal piggy bank. He had created fake accounts under aliases, crediting them with millions in fictitious funds. He then used this monopoly money to trade against his own customers on other exchanges, betting their real assets on volatile crypto markets. When he won, he pocketed the profits. When he lost, the hole in Quadriga's balance sheet grew deeper. It was a classic Ponzi scheme, using new investor deposits to pay out old investor withdrawals. All while the founder gambled away the principal. The exchange wasn't just mismanaged. It was a carefully constructed house of cards from the very beginning. The most damning clue, however, came from beyond the grave. Blockchain analysis revealed a shocking truth. Trading activity linked directly to Cotten's accounts had continued for days and weeks after his declared time of death. How could a dead man be moving cryptocurrency? Was this proof that he had faked his death and was now liquidating the stolen assets from a hidden laptop on a tropical beach? Or had he shared his secrets with someone else before he died? This revelation transformed the narrative from a story of corporate negligence into a full-blown mystery. The ghost of Gerald Cotten wasn't just haunting his former customers. He seemed to be actively trading in the digital afterlife. Every transaction logged on the blockchain after December 9, 2018, was a potential clue, a breadcrumb leading away from the official story and toward a far more sinister truth.
Oh.
The QuadrigaCX saga serves as a chilling monument to the dangers of blind faith, especially in the cult of the tech founder. In the wild, unregulated early days of cryptocurrency, Gerald Cotten wasn't just a CEO, he was a guru. He was the friendly, accessible face of a complex and intimidating technology. He projected an image of trustworthiness and stability, positioning Quadriga as the safe Canadian alternative to shadowy offshore exchanges. Users weren't just investing in Bitcoin or Ethereum, they were investing in Gary. They believed in his vision, his expertise, and his implicit promise to protect their assets. This belief was so powerful that it blinded them to the glaring operational flaws of the company. At its core, Quadriga was a one-man show. Cotten was the founder, the CEO, the head trader, and, critically, the sole custodian of the company's funds. There was no board of directors, no chief financial officer, no risk management team, and no internal audits. The entire $190 million operation was run from his encrypted laptop. This extreme centralization of power is the antithesis of what cryptocurrency was designed to be: a decentralized system built on transparency and distributed trust. Yet, in their eagerness to get in on the crypto boom, thousands of people handed over their money with little more than a promise from a charismatic founder. They ignored the fundamental rule of the crypto world: not your keys, not your coins. By entrusting their private keys to Cotten, they weren't just using an exchange. They were giving him absolute control over their financial destiny. This financial tragedy was born from a perfect storm of hype, greed, and a fundamental misunderstanding of the technology. The story of Gerald Cotten is a cautionary tale that transcends cryptocurrency. It's a story about the seductive power of a charismatic leader and our collective willingness to suspend disbelief in the pursuit of incredible gains. He exploited the very human desire for a trusted guide in an unknown territory. In the end, the man everyone trusted to lead them to the promised land of digital wealth led them straight off a financial cliff. Whether he did so from the grave or from a private island remains the $190 million question. A ghost story for the digital age that continues to haunt the world of finance.